Brian, I know you remember, you were part of the book, one of the first interviews I did, one of the early interviews that I did, and we had a lot of fun talking about the service industry and hospitality and the lessons that are there. You were kind enough to sit and talk to me then and again today. Thank you.
Oh, pleasure. Thank you, Bruce. Great project.
So you're in chapter 6. The chapter title is Keep It Fresh, and it's all about looking at how we do the same things in different ways. And I'm so excited to talk to you today about the way you integrate what you do as a leader with how your employees and your team approaches your guests.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of great stories for us here and programs in place to do exactly what you just said.
I know you were recently recognized by a really substantial and impressive organization that gave you a big award recently. Could you just share a little bit about that?
Yeah, last year I was pretty excited when our local lodging association wanted to nominate me for American Hotel Lodging Association General Manager of the Year. They have a number of categories. The category this property fits in is full service, but it's a lot of competition. And really, it comes down to being the difference in the community and extending kind of that unreasonable hospitality, that idea beyond the four walls of the property, and serving community organizations in need. And honestly, it helps me involve staff in that effort, and it makes their work just so much more meaningful when the clients that are coming in, many of them nonprofits, see us coming out to help the mission, and the people have a chance to engage on that.
My own nonprofit, the Spot on Kirk, has been a beneficiary of the work you've done in the community, and you've helped us raise a lot of money through the years. So that giving back mentality is obviously a big part. It's ingrained in what you do, right?
Yeah, definitely. Every location I've been in, there's been unique opportunities to do similar things. So when you're in Roanoke, it's pretty easy to identify opportunity to help out. And it just feels like part of hospitality.
So for people that aren't as familiar with the Hotel Roanoke, or maybe aren't as familiar with downtown Roanoke, just talk a little bit about your property and about what it means to the community.
Sure. It's a very iconic property built on this site in 1882, opened Christmas Day. Predates the incorporation of the city.
Wow.
So it's got a heritage of being kind of that heart of civic pride in many ways. And it's a heritage that's been strong through all these years. And we have to do our part for the time we're given, and celebrate those past successes. And that's really important.
You do a lot for the community, and Hotel Roanoke does a lot for the community. But it also starts with how you care for your team, right? So talk a little bit about how you bring your team up to speed, and then how you share that caring for others approach that I know is ingrained in your leadership.
Yeah, I mean, I've learned long ago there's a real ROI to empathy, specifically with your staff. I mean, they want to be heard, seen, and they want to feel valued, and we get that, right? So from day one, the relationship begins. When they show up for their orientation, that's when we start to serve them our culture, right? It's really about being the difference, and that happens in a variety of ways. It's not just with the guests, but it's with each other too. And we give them some tips on how to succeed in a high quality environment. And it's pretty common amongst the hospitality industry. But being better at that and more consistent at that is a competitive way to win.
So it's not necessarily what you teach them, but it's how you ingrain it into the day-to-day business that they interact with people, and how you lead that, right?
Yeah, I mean, once we set them up and we know we have the right staff and the right tools for them, the success is all in their shoes, right? They have to walk in their own shoes. We have a saying, it's see it, own it, solve it, do it, which is like about personal accountability and not deferring something if it can be acted on immediately. And it's not about if you personally can or can't help a guest in a situation. It's about communicating to the people who can solve the problem.
Yeah, because they have to know that it's a problem in order to solve the problem.
Right. I mean, one of the key things as you walk around the hotel, if you see a guest and the moment's right, every one of us, how are you? How was your stay? Is there anything we can do to help you? And that little magic phrase, is there anything we can do to help you, just sets up for a lot of success.
This idea of service has been ingrained again in your career, throughout your career. But one of the things that I remember talking with you about during the interview process was how you find ways to creatively recognize the team that works for you, right? And that's important to you.
Yeah, it's real important. We have a great program internally, but and I'll talk about that in a moment. But externally, it's important for us to nominate our team members for awards with Virginia Restaurant Lodging and Travel Association, other community awards, community service awards, and we try to do that regularly. And that really gets our folks noticed outside of our four walls. It's good marketing, it's good employee relations, which is really important. And additionally, here in the building, we have 3 or 4 key programs. One is our Be the Difference card. We have a card, it's titled Be the Difference. Employee to employee can recognize each other, manager to employee, or vice versa, and the guests to the team. And we post those every week on a board that everybody can review, and we randomly select cards off that board every pay period, and they get to play a game called Plinko to win prizes.
Okay.
Which keeps it fresh for them.
Right. So you don't know exactly what your reward, quote unquote, is going to be, but there's always some sort of payoff.
Yeah, the chance to earn, the chance to be recognized, and that's great. We do Associate of the Month, Manager and Supervisor of the Quarter, which is very competitive, and people win fabulous awards at the end of the year. We give out $1,000 checks, days off with pay. Every employee really is a winner because we do raffles and there's a whole slew of prizes. No one leaves the room empty-handed.
So based on what you were saying, I think that the idea of caring for each other as teammates and you caring for your team obviously creates a situation where that team member and your whole team is looking out for the guests, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We also do a thing called 5-star review. So if one of our associates named in any social media review that equates to like a 5-star status, we share that with everybody, and they get a chance to come pick a gift card of their choice down in the executive office.
Nice. So they actually come into your turf, and then you find a way to give them something of substance. That's kind of a nice twist.
Yeah, I mean, we spend a little bit of money on employee recognition and prizes, but it's such a payoff culturally. And we get more of those 5-star reviews than you would think.
So before you were the leader and an award-winning general manager, you were an employee at different places, and I mean, frontline service person. And I know you started your career in New England as an oyster boy. So tell everybody a little bit about that role. What does an oyster boy do?
Sure. So I was a 4-year culinary arts student in high school. So I was able to work early and contribute to an award-winning Hilton in Massachusetts. And every day we had a lounge, one of those 80s active lounges. And so we would set up hospitality, and one of the elements of that was rolling out what was really a salad bar, configured and decorated.
For New England.
For New England, right, with oysters, crab legs, fresh-made sauces, well-garnished. Everything properly handled, and those details matter. You don't want to serve a gritty oyster. You want to make sure that the sauces are flavorful and what the people expect. And it was just fun. You roll that out into the lounge. The bartender sells the guest a ticket. They come over, redeem it. There's a jukebox next to me. I'm on a dance floor. There's a mirror behind me for this lounge.
Did you wear one of the white hats?
Oh, big stovepipe hat.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And once in a while, people would show up and throw me a quarter and say, play some songs on the jukebox kit, Yeah. And so it was just fun. But, for me in high school, I never really was in a public-facing position. You started out as a cook in culinary arts, so you're in the back, right? And that's a lot of fun and very rewarding too. But once you get out front, that's where you start really building confidence. And that's where I think serving really helps you grow quickly, especially at a young age.
Yeah, so even though you might not have been a waiter per se or a server, you were definitely public facing, and that had to have been that big shift for you, right? I mean, I guess you decided then, hey, I kind of like this side of the business as well, right?
Yeah, and part of that is as you get that confidence and you learn those skills, there's almost a situation you can't handle, right? No matter what happens, you can make it right. You can try to fix it with the guest, and that's powerful.
were it all sunshine and butterflies, things would be amazing. But obviously, we run into difficult people, into difficult situations. Sometimes it's just a difficult person, and other times it's a misunderstanding or an implied challenge.
But
How have you, I won't say mastered because you won't let me say mastered, but how have you managed to learn and improve and get even better at handling tough people and tough situations?
yeah, we've learned long ago, people are traveling all day, the flight's late, the rental car counter doesn't have their car, who knows? They get here, they're frustrated, we want them to arrive and then not have any more problems. And sometimes we have to make up for other people's problems. We have to let them let that go and forget about that. We build a toolkit, right? So we have a bunch of tools for recovery, and in that recovery toolkit, we can reward the guest. We can provide complimentary things like Starbucks coffee, maybe a beverage in the lounge. And in that way, the team's empowered. They're empowered to do something. And I think that's the important thing.
And that probably isn't a set it and forget it kind of path. You invariably have to be shifting and adjusting that approach, I would think, right?
Yeah, definitely. And we take advantage of opportunities. If we get some theater tickets for Mill Mountain Theater downtown, that might be part of the recovery toolkit for a show for that week. Things like that pop up all the time, and it allows us to showcase the community in addition to making the guests better.
Well, count the Spot on Kirk as a place you can grab a couple tickets as you need them to. You've been so good to us, and you've been real kind to give your time today to talk about the project. I am curious with one last question. If you could go back and talk to your 18-year-old on the floor, on the dance floor with the jukebox next to yourself as an oyster boy, what kind of things would you tell yourself way back when?
Oh, it's training, right? If someone offers you training, take it all. Don't hesitate, raise your hand. So for me, one of the ways I got to learn more and move forward was anytime an opportunity to help out opened up, I jumped on it. Then suddenly you're a banquet server, and then suddenly you're a banquet bartender, and then you're at the front desk, and you're a night auditor, and you get this skill set that now, for me as a general manager, I kind of understand where the staff is every day and what they're going through.
Because you've been in those positions,
right? It can be completely empathetic and supportive, and can help them anticipate how to stay out of trouble on a certain busy day or a difficult turn. So it really has served me well coming through the kitchen.
Yeah. Well, we worked our way through the questions, and again, Brian, I love that you made time to have this conversation. I'm excited about people hearing more of your story in Turning Tables. And again, I thank you for your time and your commitment to service and to the community.
Thank you, Brian. It's a pleasure to be part of the project. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah.